Hello everyone. Hello everyone. This is Tosif. Shall we start today's session? I hope you guys are able to hear my voice as well as you can able to see the screen I am sharing right now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. One person has joined as a computer. Please rename yourself so we'll get to know what is actual usernames. Okay, we'll start with the one program that is Scilab program, program number 9. Okay, in this one the program is for program for generating random number using various techniques. Okay, how we can generate a random number, what are different functionality that Scilab provide to generate a random number. Now we are going to discuss. Before that one, we will check about what is random number, how we can generate a random number, this functionality. Might you guys know already that one random number is run number which is will be in not in a sequence, means we cannot easily predict the value how it got generated, and this random number is usually used for some we will use for this kind of keys. Okay, some encryption keys or securing some data or making some randomized selection for some records. Example, we want some example on online test we have thousands of questions but we want to show only 20 questions which has to be random. Okay, these types of lots of applications are there. Okay, now there are two types of generating a random number. Okay, one is hardware based, another is algorithm based. So we'll go quickly for some definitions regarding this random number. Okay, random number is a number which is we cannot easily predictable. There are two types of random number generating. One is a hardware random number generator, HRNG, which is a truly random number. Okay, another type of random number is pseudo random number, which is going to be generated by some algorithms. Okay, what happens in this one in pseudo random numbers? There will be some algorithm will be there. We need to push some seed. For one seed is nothing but initial value. Okay, using that initial values and some current like values, current values of the system or the environment, it will generate a new random number that is hard to predict. Okay, while we are coming to pseudo random number, this is not a purely random number, because if you know the random algorithm and if you know the seed, we can easily predict the value of the random number or the next value which is going to be generated. Okay, now in Scilab we are using this pseudo random number generator. We doesn't want this hardware random generator right now. So in Scilab we are working on this pseudo random number generator. In this one there will be some algorithms will be there, and for that algorithm we have to set some seed value. Seed is the initial value. Okay, you can check out simple examples of random like dice also. There will be only six values will be there, but we cannot predict which value is going to be next. Okay, okay, if we comes to this one, we can also get some information like hardware random number also. There will be some hardware. Okay, SSL accelerator computer card. Okay, these are the card which are used to generate a random number in a computer, and this will be purely random number because it is a card based random number. And what is the use of this one? While we are doing some encryption, decryption or cryptography, while sending some data to, if you want to generate some self signed certificate. Okay, self signed certificate, that also you can use using this one. Okay, this
Sir,
also
your voice not here properly, sir.
okay. Yeah. Let me check my internet connectivity.
Sir, what is not
Yeah.
Sir,
Yes. Yes, let me check. I'm just checking my internet
sir,
connectivity. Yeah.
disturbance is going on?
Is I'm
Same.
okay, sir.
yeah, is I'm audible now?
ತುಂಬಾ ಅಸಲ್ಗೆ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಂಗೂ ಹಿಂಗೂ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಹತ್ರನೇ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್.
Yeah.
ನಾನ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನಂದೇ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಮ
Hello. Hello.
ಊರಲ್ಲಿ
Hello all.
ಹೇ
ನಮ್ಮೂರಲ್ಲಿ
ಗುರುತಿಗೆ
ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಟ್ ಸೇಮ್ ನಮಗೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ.
Hello all. Is I'm audible right now?
ಅಮ್ರು ನಮ್ಮೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಳೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮೂರಲ್ಲಿ?
ನಮ್ಮೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಲೇ, ನಮ್ಮೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿಂಚ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಇನ್ನು ಗುಡುಗು ಮಿಂಚಿದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಕ್ಲೌಡಿನೇ ಇದೆ.
Hello all. Is I'm
ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀನಿ,
audible
ಏನ್
to
ಭಯ
you now?
ಎಸ್
Yes,
ಸರ್.
sir.
Yeah. Shall we start now?
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್.
Okay,
So
sir.
yeah. Does we have to start from the beginning or can we start from the last point we have discussed?
ಸರ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಓಕೆ ಸರ್.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So we are discussing about the different techniques of generating a random number. There are two types of generating a random number, that is hardware random number generator. Another is pseudo random number generator. Hardware random generator is nothing but there will be some hardware attached to the system that is going to be generate a truly random number. Okay, and that is used that hardware device name is SSL accelerator computer card. Okay, this is used to generate a random number and usually we use for this cryptography. Okay, example, if you want to generate self signed certificate in your system also you can generate a self signed certificate, I believe. So if you are
The screen is not visible, sir.
okay, after this disconnection again intuition. I hope now you guys are able to see the screen also, right? This is a
Yes, sir.
you can see the right side, one hardware is there. So this is called SSL accelerator computer card, which is used to generate a truly random number across internet also. Okay, this is very useful. Might be you guys have already discussing about a certificate, right? Yeah, in your system also you can generate a self signed certificate. Okay, that self-signed certificate give you some randomized key which you can use as a private key and a public key. Okay, then how it is generating using this hardware components. Okay, this is about okay, hardware. Now we will come to pseudo random generator. Pseudo random generator is nothing but using some algorithm, there will be some program will be there. Okay, that will use a seed as a initialized value and using some environment values it will generate a random number. But one thing is it is not a pure random number, so we can predict the random number which is going to become next. Okay, if you know the algorithm as well as seed. Example, Monte Carlo method. Okay, these are some examples of generating a random algorithms. So in which we will now we will come to our Scilab program, how we can generate a random number. Yes, in the screen you can check out a ran method is there. Okay, ran method is used to generate a random method. Okay, so for this one we will go first of all the complete functionality of random method. Okay, random method. Okay, you can check out there are lot of different syntax in the random method. Okay, this is to generate the random method, this is to set the random method. Okay, how now the next is random method info. Okay, what is the use of this random info? First I will tell you. Okay, random number info, I'm just typing this one, you can check out. Now the random method is uniform, means what algorithm it is using, and the values what it will generate, the values will be in uniform, okay, by ascending or descending order. Okay, you can make it as a normal also, random normal, you can set as a random as a normal. We'll check now what is our information. Now normal is nothing but the next value would be a random only, might be it is in decrease or it will be increase. And we were discussing about seed value, right? So we'll check random, what is our current seed value, seed. Okay, we can check out, there is some seed value is there. Using this value, our algorithm, the Scilab algorithm, will generate a random number. Okay, now we'll check one simple, without passing any value. This is one a random number, and a random number is nothing but a value which will be a unpredictable value. Now we will come to a different functionality of random number. Okay, this we have already seen, without passing any value we can generate a single random value. Now this is nothing but a random number with some values like column and rows values. Okay, we'll check now. Now first of all we'll clear the screen and we'll check what is random type we are using. It's a normal only. Now random 3 comma 4 I will use. You can check out, there are 3 rows and 4 columns, right? And you can check out what is the values we are getting, right? After 2 0 minus 0.29 we are getting positive, means something random is there. The same thing I will change the random to uniform. Okay, then we will check the same output what we will get. You can check out, there is some uniformity in that one. Okay, this value, this value, this value are uniform. Okay, there are two types of random number, generating a random numbers in the Scilab. One is a uniform method, another is normal method. Okay, that is nothing but the random keys. Okay, and another is seed. Okay, you can check out what is seed also. Random, just we need to pass one value as a seed, so it will return the, you can check out what is our seed value. Now based on this seed value you are going to use further. If you want to set any seed value, seed, just give 3. Now rand seed, you can check out, now the seed value is 3. So at any time you can change the seed value, at any time you can change the, what is the method of random, whether it is a uniform or normal. Okay, there are two methods which I already discussed, seed and what is a random info. And the next method are the columns, and finally we are passing one key also. And another one thing you can check out here, a x value, x here determined as a matrix, we can pass one matrix. Okay, so that matrix is a real number, means it should not contain a zero value like that. Okay, after passing a matrix, for that each and every value it will return a random number. Okay, now we will check one simple, a is equal to 1 to 10, right? Random a, you can check out that one. for each and every one value we got a random number. So if we have some this kind of static values, we can get a random number for these values also. If I'm using just take an example, a is equal to 1 is to 1 into 5 comma 6 to 10, right? Okay, now we'll pass again this matrix to our random method a. Now you can check out by respective values we got the random values. Okay, these are on another method. Okay, for this one we will check now one simple example, will this example only. Okay, now we'll check out how we can pass the values. One program. Okay, this is one simple program in which different types of functionality we are showing. Okay, even though you can put for some sometimes it has a ran uniform or ran normal also. We will check both the example with this one. Before that one I would like to clear our this screen, so we will get complete output itself. You can check out now we are using a uniform, so uniform value you can check out, always it will be give a uniformity in the output. You can check out 0 1 and 0 0.3 0 0.5 0 0.7 0 0.7 and further and 0.9. One uniformity is there. If we run the same program with normal, okay, the same program, let me clear the screen first so we'll get a clear idea about the things. Okay, now you can check out it is a normal, means it is a the sequence will be in random format. Okay, so this is a okay, you can check out first we are passing the value and a string, it will printing the string first and second the value. Okay, it's printing the message first and then it is printing the value, the value of a. Okay, then b value, what is b value, what we are specifying, we are specifying some rows and column values. So you can 4 and 6, 4 rows and 6 columns are there. If you want to get one matrix like this of a random number, you can do this one. And third is making a ununiform. Okay, in the random format you are saying that one we want the random number 4 rows 6 columns in ununiform format. And another one thing here, I'm just creating a random of 2 into 2 matrix, and that matrix I'm passing and I want a normal output and I'm just displaying the matrix. For this one you can check out r is equal to this one, and finally we are specifying a 3-dimensional matrix and we are displaying that one. So right now we don't have that one to display the values in 3 dimension, so it is displaying it as a 2 matrices. So in this one it is saying it is a first matrix and this is a second matrix. So if we make it as a 3 now, you can check out the values 3 matrices it is generating using 2 into 2 column matrix. Okay, 2 into 2 column matrix and generating matrix 3. You can check out here 2 into 2 matrix and generating 3 matrices, right? This is a very simple program and we have gone through some functionality of random functionality in the Scilab. what are different ways of generating. And here it has given some example also, why it is get predictable or less predictable values, how you can get a predictable or less predictable. It is purely based on what seed you are passing. If your seed is somewhat complex, then I believe it will become a less predictable value. If it is seed is very easy to find out, then that's predictable value also easy. Example here, in a linear example, it is showing that one value a and c are the constant values, x is the c value, you can say, and you can pass it, so you will get this one. And there are some other also generating a random number, grand, some other functionality also is there. Okay, I hope you will go through this all functionality related to this topic. Hello all. So this is about a nine program. So I hope you guys have understood. If you guys have any doubt in this one, you can ask me. It's very simple program, I believe. Okay, we'll move for yesterday's concept of cloud computing, and we'll quickly brush up the things. Okay, cloud on demand and sourcing. Okay, what is the use of cloud on demand, how we can use this cloud on demand, and what are the subtopics comes in cloud on demand, like cloud, what is definition and what is the information related to that one, pre-provisioning, and cloud on demand cpu, memory or virtual machine resources. Okay, tracking, some tracking mechanism, dynamic capacity, and cloud platform characteristics based on cloud on demand. Okay, this will quickly brush up because yesterday also I have shared that video. If you guys have any doubt while explaining, you can ask me that time itself. Okay, no need to wait till end. Okay, example, yesterday also we have seen in the video also, like there is one big organization is there, is running some cloud also. Okay, for some reason, okay, for some task, there is will be sometimes in a yearly, okay, yearly once or for some hours, may the organization require more resources. Example, big billion day or the Indian Great Festival, there is some limit for a user also can use the application. Okay, if it is reach more than that one, okay, then they require some extra amount of resources, like example CPU or CPU cycles or memory or handling extra resources. Okay, that time, for that particular 2 3 hours, a company or organization cannot spend a complete money on the hardware. Okay, here the demands come for cloud on the demand, means what, there will be some small duration of time a organization required some large amount of resources, so it can take for rent for few hours or based on the requirement, and it can release the resources once the requirement fulfill and pay some amount for the resources. In this case what happens, so the company does not require to buy complete hardware or complete infrastructure. Okay, with less amount it is getting the infrastructure. And if this type of many companies are using same resources, the resource will be utilized fully. There are two types of advantages briefly we can say. Okay, this is one simple scenario of on cloud on demand. Cloud on demand computing is a business computing model in which computing resources are made available to the user on an as needed basis. Okay, And what is this one? It's a urgent. Okay, it's not like very long term. We have to use or we are having a plan for a long term. It's not like it's a urgent and short term requirement, and implemented using virtual techniques. Okay, there will be some tools and techniques which make the resources as a virtually connected, virtually together. Okay, it's not actually physically they are connected. So leverage the cloud computing without buying the hardware, especially used to reduce the workload. Okay, so it will increase the capabilities of cloud computing mechanism. Okay, it will give a smoothness to a cloud computing usage. So without buying anything, we can utilize the things. Okay, there is one simple one example is Open Nebula Virtual Infrastructure Engine is one tool used to make use the resources as a virtually connected on demand. Okay, they can easily connect and they can easily release all the resources. It's not such an easy job. Expert means who is having a complete information on the tools and these techniques, they can easily do the things. Okay, what it will affects means it will reduce the cost, increase the user availability. Yes, if there is a heavy demand, okay, supply is less for a organization, then the user has to wait for some time until it gets a until it gets a turn time, right? That is the situation where if we make a cloud on demand, so for some CPU itself, so user won't feel lagging. User doesn't have to wait. User can easily available the resources, can access the resources. And balance workload. So it will balance the workload. If there are many functionality also happening, it will make a balance. It won't give burden to the processor. React to a short term means we cannot uh, take a cloud on demand for long term. Okay, if it is a long term, then we can directly purchase that one. Reduce the physical footprint of data center means the burden of the data center data, whatever resources we have, it will reduce the physical burden also. Increase the system utilization, both. Okay, the person who is making a cloud on demand, that system also will be utilized more, as well as the person who is providing the cloud on demand resources, that resource also will be utilized fully. Double the workload delivered in the same power and the cooling envelope. So this is some idea about a cloud on demand. So there are some pre-provisioning also is there. Example, we know that one there is a scenario after some month of after some hours. Okay, we required some extra resources only for a short duration. Okay, we know we have a idea about that one also. So at that time, what we can do, we can pre-request the provider to make arrangement for that resources. That is nothing but pre-provisioning. Okay, pre-provisioning is a process of cloud on demand which is this is somewhat like theory. Okay, which in which the cloud provider will already initiated the future request for acquiring the resource such as memory, CPU. Okay, it is a good option in the cloud computing, so it will reduce the time of commissioning the resources. So the provider will already make a all configuration. When we require, we can easily take a control on the resources. This approach can be deal with the following situation. So what is the situation we can, okay, we should know the complete planning. We have complete planning of our system means the Amazon know on the big billion day may require some extra resources. Okay, what is the date of big billion day, what is the start timing, what is the end timing, everything is planned, and it is completely understood this many users are going to log in at this time. So what is the sizing and capacity is fully understood. Workload is fairly constant means it is not even though more than that what we are requesting also. Ensuring good utilization level means it is we are utilizing properly, or example we are requesting some resources which is not utilized properly. It should not be happen. There are business reasons that require physical separation of workload. Okay, some reasons we are making some virtual techniques. We need to use this one. Okay, workload can be scaled horizontally. Okay, this also a simple cloud on demand only, but in this one we are making complete plan when we have to utilize cloud on demand. And like, I am the provider for the resources whenever any client is making cloud on demand. So if I'm a provider, I should have a track on the resources, who is utilizing how much. And if I have a track of such things, then I will can make a utilization better, because I will make arrangement for next client also what he requires. Okay, CPU, memory, virtual resources, or any resources, we are making a track in cloud on computing. In the cloud on computing, provider should track the information about the CPU, memory, or virtual resources, so these virtual resources can be utilized efficiently in a common pool. Yes, like cloud on demand is nothing but there will be one common pool will be there. The user requesting, taking a commission on the resource and utilizing the resource, and leaving means deallocating, decommissioning the resource after utilization. So it is a common pool. Resources are allocating and deallocating as the requirement rises and get over. Following the best scenario for this approach. Okay, workload are trending upward so that the investment can be aligned with the utilization. If we are making some track how much resources that I have requested for some resources, and the meanwhile I'm taking a record also, track also how much it is utilizing. If it is not fully utilizing, I can deallocate and I can save my money, right? Peak in the workload or long term, the workload scales vertically. Vertically is nothing but making incremental only. Okay, it will be not dynamic, it will be not static, sorry, it will be dynamic or incrementing or decrementing. There is a chance to buy out dynamic capacity and it proves advantageous then. So what it will say that one, we can directly buy the dynamic. If it is continuously utilizing the resources, we can hire now, we can buy now itself. Okay, I hope cash on delivery, this one simple concept like cash on delivery, CPU, memory, virtual resources, how they are utilizing, making it track. Now dynamic capacity. Now dynamic capacity is nothing but we are started a organization, we are running on some platform. After some duration time, our resources are completely utilized. Okay, now we want some extra capacity, so that is nothing but a dynamic capacity. So cloud provides a option that one, we can virtually increase our dynamic capacity, our capacity of any resource like memory or CPU or virtual resources, anything we can increase, right? That is nothing but dynamic capacity. And there will be some tools we have to utilize for dynamic capacity. Okay, cloud on demand is a based on dynamic capacity, where acquiring additional processing power for a short period of time can be shared from the resources.